Envision being on a battlefield strewn with arrows, gunfire, and explosions, only to discover that your own army was much more feared than the enemy. Over the centuries, soldiers have been punished for fear, disobedience, and attempting to escape punishment, punishments that are unimaginable to us today. In ancient Rome, squads of soldiers were compelled to kill one of their friends with clubs and stones. Men would be beaten until their skin was torn off and dragged under the bottom of ships covered in sharp barnacles. Loyalty was not as strong as fear in some armies. These punishments were designed to be an example to all those who would dare to fail. 1. Flogging. For centuries, flogging was one of the most common methods of punishment used in the armies of the world. It was extremely brutal. In the British Army, Royal Navy, and other armies, if soldiers stole food, embarrassed an officer, or even took a nap while on guard, they could be sentenced to 1,000 lashes. Typically, the punishment was carried out in public in front of the entire camp. The accused soldier would be bound to a wooden post or to a cannon wheel, and the officers would read the charges to him. But when the whipping came, the horror began. These were no ordinary whips. Many were crafted out of thick leather cords that were meant to rend flesh with each strike. There was one particularly gruesome version that had multiple knotted lashes that ripped flesh with almost no effort, called the cat-o'-nine-tails. Initially, soldiers shrieked in agony. Many would faint from blood loss after dozens, even hundreds, of lashes. Now they were mere chunks of flesh. Their backs were gone. Some never recovered. A number of soldiers died from infections that set in days after the punishment, and many perished from flesh-eating bacteria in the squalid war camps. This was a particularly brutal flogging, as it was administered in public. The army was keen to ensure that any soldiers who broke discipline were never forgotten. More often than not, the repercussions of the whipping didn't end once the lashing was over. There were numerous scars that would remain with survivors forever, scarring of the back. In some armies, fear was more important than humanity, but flogging was bad enough. Some punishments were worse. 2. Running the gauntlet. Imagine being dragged through a corridor surrounded by a bunch of angry soldiers, everyone about to hit you as hard as they could. This was known as running the gauntlet. It was a common punishment during the 17th and 19th centuries and was applied to thieves, deserters, and rebels. The condemned would be stripped to the waist and be marched between two lines of soldiers. Occasionally, there were hundreds of men standing shoulder to shoulder. They all were armed: whips, wooden rods, sticks, clubs. As he began to walk towards them, they began beating him. The blows started to rain from all directions. The wood broke into pieces. Whips cut up naked skin. After a few steps, soldiers often tripped but had to stand up, only to be pushed back by guards and punished once more. There was no chance of escape. In other instances, gauntlets were hundreds of feet long, and in a few cases the prisoners had to go through gauntlets more than once. The mental suffering was as great as the physical pain. There were no enemies attacking you. These were your own companions, the same men who you ate with, marched beside, fought beside. Then they began to beat you on your ribs with clubs and nobody did a thing. Some of these soldiers died before they could make it to the end of the line. Some of them had broken bones or injuries to their eyes or brains. But once it went public, the military found it to be effective. All the soldiers on duty knew what to do. Obey, or your own flesh and blood will be the ones executing you. But somehow, naval punishments became even worse. 3. Keelhauling. The many gruesome methods of punishment at sea included few that were more terrifying than keelhauling. It is hard to believe. If someone was accused of something serious, such as mutiny or desertion, he would be tightly bound with ropes to the ship. Then, he was thrown overboard in front of the entire crew. However, there was no end to the horror. The sailor would then be pulled under the ship, and old wooden ship's bottoms were covered with sharp barnacles and shells. As he tried to climb back on the vessel, the barnacles had torn through his skin, flesh peeled apart. Salt water was in his eyes. They swallowed water and started to drown even before they made it to the other side. Ships were as big as could be, and some sailors would remain in the water for terrible lengths of time. If they got tangled up in the ropes, the victim drowned. When they did come up, they were frequently found all mangled, dripping blood as they were dragged to safety, the crew gazing in horrified amazement. Some skin was reported to be hanging from the bodies of the punished. A few died of infection several days after. The thought of it lasting so long was what we were all terrified of. Keelhauling was a type of punishment wherein the victim was executed slowly and in a painful way, rather than in a quick and efficient manner. They couldn't have missed a beat. It was thought that the fear captains had of losing control of their sailors would be a strong incentive for them to punish them. Captains, especially on long voyages when mutiny was ever a possibility, were highly motivated to stay in control of their sailors. Even at that time, many people considered keelhauling to be a most horrible punishment, but there were still punishments in history that were darker than this. 4. Branding. Some soldiers' punishment didn't stop once the pain stopped. Armies enjoyed making men carry their shame for as long as they could. It is at this stage that the brand was introduced. Deserters, thieves, and cowards were marked with hot irons in some military services, specifically in the American Civil War and in the wars of Europe in earlier years. It was a ghastly, simple procedure. A metal letter would be heated to a red heat. Then they tied up the prisoner and pressed the iron into his skin. Immediately, the smell of burned flesh filled the air. Occasionally, victims cried out as their skin was burned within seconds by the intense heat. The letters were even embarrassing in their meanings. The letter D was for deserter, T meant thief, C was sometimes used to mean coward. Such marks were usually burned onto the skin of the hand, the cheek, and sometimes the forehead so that they were visible to all for eternity. It's not just about the branding, it was about the purpose, not pain, humiliation. The army wished to have branded soldiers serve as a warning. If they were to survive the physical punishment, they would still face social punishment. His future employers, strangers, or military officers could immediately see that he had let his army down. In many societies, being called a coward was worse than death. The punishment haunted soldiers for their entire lives, and branding indelibly burned the body. Some men tried to get rid of the marks. Wherever possible, they covered them with cloth. However, that shame still lingered. Reputation was marred and tarnished by branding. The following punishment ripped apart lives in a most horrific manner. 5. Soviet penal battalions. Military punishments were thought to be more civilized by World War II. However, under Stalin's Soviet Union, they were terrifying in other ways. Order number 227 was issued by Stalin after the Soviet Union's early defeats against Nazi Germany in 1942. This was a simple message: no going back. Those soldiers found to be cowards, retreating, or disobeying orders were frequently assigned to Strafbats, or punishment battalions. These were officially units where soldiers were to redeem themselves with their blood. In fact, they were frequently life sentences. The most suicidal missions were given to penal battalions. Some were sent to attack enemy machine gunners as soon as they got in range. Others were required to lead the way for regular troops through minefields. If you knew that your own commanders wanted you dead before you began the mission, what would you do? And it got worse. Detachments behind Soviet lines, men who were given the task of killing any Soviet who tried to retreat. Therefore, punishment soldiers were sentenced to death from both sides. In front of them, the enemy was shooting. Behind them, their own side was waiting to do the same. Thousands of people were killed in this manner. Penal battalions were a nightmare punishment and would last weeks, not minutes or hours as with the previous punishments. Each attack was a life-or-death situation. A handful of soldiers managed to return to normal units, but an untold number of others lost everything in impossible missions. It was one of the most striking examples of the military's terror of its own soldiers through the ages. Even Stalin's punishments are insignificant compared to what the Romans did. It was a psychologically horrid punishment to such an extent that it still shocks historians today. 6. Decimation. Among the commander's punishments, Roman decimation was certainly the most infamous. The punishment was only handed out for the most egregious offenses such as mutiny, cowardice, or mass desertion. It was developed to scare entire armies. When defeated in combat, Roman commanders would gather the unit together. Then, the soldiers were divided into groups of 10. The worst was to come. Randomly, one person was selected from each group. Whether he was brave or cowardly was of no consequence. Whether he fought hard or not was not important. If he was one of the chosen ones, he died. But no outside executioner was introduced. Rather, the other 9 soldiers in the squad were ordered to kill him, usually with clubs or stones. Imagine if you had to kill a man you had been allied with for years. The mental fear was beyond belief. This was considered by the Romans to be a punishment which brought order through fear. This was because no one was safe, and this is what proved effective. No one was innocent. Barley would be used for rations for survivors of decimation, in addition to the humiliation of sleeping outside camp walls. The emotional wounds, however, seemed to have been permanent. They had to kill one of their own at the orders of their officers. That is why decimation was so terrible. It was not just the act of retribution against the guilty. It destroyed the confidence and trust among the soldiers. In many countries, punishments for soldiers have been strictly limited today. Terror, pain, and humiliation were the rulers of armies for thousands of years. Many times, soldiers feared being punished by their own officers more than being shot to death on the battlefield. Yet throughout history, it wasn't discipline that was encouraged by loyalty, but through fear.